She had big magic that had to be worth something. Or was she really failing the big test? Her sudden doubt knocked the excitement out of her. She turned back into a girl. Thank you very much for testing me, Nori said. She forced a smile just the way Hawthorne had told her to. She used her very best manners. The teachers continued making mark in their notebook, but father couldn't. He was cradling his swelling, bleeding hand. The teacher looked stern. Finally, they stopped writing and put their heads together. They whispered fiercely. Nori went cold. Mr. Bertha looked up. Miss Horace, I'm sorry. We can't have such wonky magic here at Sage Academy. No matter how big your power and no matter who your family is, but your magic is damaged somehow. Nori looked at her father. Her father looked at her. Agreed, he said grimly. Eleanor Boxwood Horace, your admission is denied. Chapter 5. That evening, father and Hawthorne picked at their dinner. Dahlia ate only half a turnip. Nori couldn't even manage that. Her throat was clogged with held back tears. No one talked about what had happened. No one spoke at all. As soon as he finished his food, father turned invisible and went to his still invisible office. He didn't come out of the rest of the night. Hawthorne let Nori stay up late in front of the television. He made her toasted marshmallow. Dahlia coaxed a rabbit to cuddle in Nori's lap. Still, they didn't talk about what happened. Not that night, nor any of the days and nightfall afterwards. Nori wasn't sure what happened to kids who didn't get into any schools. Nobody would tell her. The one time she asked Hawthorne, he said not to worry about it now. Lots of kids went to public school, but father didn't like them. He would hire a governess, maybe to teach her at home. Summer stretched toward fall. Nori played with her friends from Woodydale Ordinary School. She heard them talk about school they had gotten into. She admired their new talent without ever showing them hers. She read books. She watched movies. She kicked a soccer ball around the yard. She remained scared to ask father what would happen to her when school started. So she never did. Once cool August evening, father phone beeped during dinner. He checked it and pushed back his chair. She's on her way, he said to Hawthorne. You'll take care of everything. Hawthorne hesitated. Then he dropped his gaze. I will, he said. Father strode from the room, going invisible as he did so. Who is on her way? Nori asked. What will you take care of? Hawthorne lit his paper napkin on fire and put it out again. Dahlia offered a spoonful of jam to the ferret at her feet. What's going on? Nori persisted. I'm here, called a vibrant voice from outside. Through the open kitchen window flew a sturdy-looking white woman. She wore jeans and sneakers. Her short hair was sticking up every which way. She served neatly into the dining room and lowered herself gently onto the floor. Nori's mouth fell open. It was Aunt Margo. She hadn't been to visit since Nori's mother has died 6 years before. Margo hugged Hawthorne and Dahlia, saving Nori for the last. Oh, my little Nori, you have grown so big. I have, and I hear you are quite a talent. Have you got your stuff? Huh? Aunt Margo eyebrows shot up. Shirt, jeans, jammies, your toothbrush. I can come back for your cold weather clothes, but you'll need all your basics. Nori turned to Dahlia and Hawthorne. They wouldn't meet her eye. Oh, seriously? Said Aunt Margo. Did they not tell you? Tell me what? Nori replied in a tiny voice. Sheesh. Why doesn't anyone in this family talk about anything? Sorry, muttered Hawthorne. I was getting around it. Aunt Margo lifted off the floor so high she nearly touched the dining room ceiling. She banged on it with her fist. You need to talk about things, Stone. She yelled to Nori's father. It's bad to not talk about things with your own children. Nori gaped. He won't listen to me, Margo said. lowering herself back to floor. He never did and never will. But it still feels good to speak my mind. Nori thought it uh, it would feel even better to change the subject. Father said, "You drive a taxi," she blurted. He said, "You don't get paid much. Actually, he says you're poor, which is why we haven't seen you in forever." "Nori," Daria scolded. "Meh," said Aunt Margot. "I'm not poor, I'm just not rich. And I don't drive a taxi, I am a taxi." She pointed to the logo on the front of her t shirt. Despite herself, Nori was impressed. All flyers could fly, or they wouldn't be flyers, but very few could take passengers. Hawthorne went to the coat closet and pulled out a blue duffel bag. He put it by the front door. "I got her packed," he said, not looking at Nori. Nori's lip trembled. "Father is getting rid of me because I flunked the big test?" "It's not like that," said Dahlia. "It's for just a little while," Hawthorne promised. "For your education," said Dahlia. "You'll come visit on holidays. It'll be fun." "He is ashamed of me," said Nori. Her eyes teared up. "You are all ashamed of me." Aunt Margot shook her head. "Not true. They want what's best for you, and I can't wait to get to know you again." The energy drained from Nori's body. Father, Hawthorne, Dahlia, the two bats, and the three-toad, the ferret, the toucan, the pair of mice, and 12 rabbits. None of them wanted her. Hawthorne handed Nori's duffel to Aunt Margot. "What about a jacket?" Margot said. "She does have a jacket." Hawthorne said. "Get your jacket." Aunt Margot told Nori. Nori did. "Button it up." Nori did. "Say goodbye to Hawthorne and Dahlia." In a fog, Nori said goodbye. "Hold on to my shoulders now," Aunt Margot told Nori, "and whatever you do, don't let go." The night air tingled on Nori's skin. The moon just raising glowed bright. Down below, the tower of the Sage Academy disappeared, and then the lights of Nori's hometown were gone too. Nori and Margot flew over black blobs and looked like forest, and the black blob that looked like building. The roads were lit up by street light and tiny cars. At one point, a family of crows flew alongside. Nori reached out to touch them, but they swooped away. Aunt Margot wasn't chatty. She was concentrating. Eventually, they flew down to the lights of a small town built on a hillside. Little houses with porches were jammed up against one another, many of them brightly lit inside. Aunt Margot landed in the yard full of flower next to a very small old wooden house. A battered welcome sign hung from the door. "This is your new home," Aunt Margot said proudly. "Number 14 Clover Street in Dunwiddle." She pointed to the right. 6 blocks that way and 4 blocks over the Dunville Magic School. "What kind of school it is?" Nori said. It's a school, said Aunt Margot. "A public school." Nori's legs quivered. "It's a nice place," Margot continued. "Not fancy like Sage Academy, which I would argue is a good thing. Just a school where you will learn lots and make friends and have fun." "Oh," Nori said, "but will they know what to do with my she couldn't get the word out, my messed up magic?" "Yes," Margot said. "They have a great new program geared toward students like you." "Like me?" "Well, not exactly like you, because there is only one Nori." Aunt Margot smiled at her, as if being only Nori wasn't a bad thing. "But the school has just started a class for kids who struggle with magic. It's new this year." "Isn't that exciting?" "Struggle with magic? Oh no." Nori had heard rumored of program like this. There were few in New York, one in Miami. She was going to be in a particular class for the worst of the wonky. What it's called? Nori asked. She had a bad feeling in her gut. Aunt Margot walked up to the door of the house and unlocked it. "It's called Upside Down Magic." Aunt Margot had fixed up the tiny guest bedroom for Nori. It had a bright green wall and an iron bed frame. There were no toys, no art supplies, no family photographs, but there was a stack of library books by the bed and a vase of late summer rose on the desk. In the morning, Aunt Margot showed Nori the rest of the house. She explained how to work the remote control of the television. She taped a chore schedule on the fridge. Then they went to the grocery store, where Aunt Margo asked Nori what her favorite um, cereal was. Nori knew she should say Fiver Flakes, but because that was father's favorite. But father wasn't here, was he? Father had sent Nori away on purpose. So in flash of recklessness, she told her aunt truth. Fruity Doodles. Aunt Margot didn't blink. She bought 2 boxes of Fruity Doodles as well as half dozen apple and pint of chocolate ice cream. I arranged for a neighbor boy to walk you to the first day of school tomorrow. Aunt Margot said over dinner. It was a takeout pizza. Who is he? His name is Elliot. A taxi. Uh, I taxi his mom to work at the hospital a couple of towns over. Aunt Margot said after swallowing a bite of pizza. Her shift is early, so I shall be gone when you wake up. You can fix yourself a bowl of Fruity Doodles. Yes. And be sure to switch off the lights when you leave. Oh, and Elliot is in the upside down magic class too. That's pretty great, don't you think? No, Nori didn't think it was pretty great. There was nothing great about any part of the situation, but she knew Aunt Margot was being thoughtful. What's Elliot magic? He is flair, and an unusual one. From what I have heard, I haven't seen him in action. He is, well, you shall see when you meet him. But he's nice boy. He'll swing by and get you at 8. The next morning, Nori woke up to an empty house. It took her a moment to remember everything. When she did, her heart felt empty too. She looked on the bright side. Hawthorne wasn't there, make her wear a dress or braid her hair. That meant she could choose her own clothes. Nori wiggled into her lucky purple pant, pulled down a hoodie, and left her hair big. She was dressed for school by 7:30, which gave her plenty of time to eat breakfast, watch cartoon, and get really and totally terrified. Would everyone else know one another from ordinary school? If no one spoke to her, what if she didn't make any friends? What if she never made any friends and she spent her lunches hidden in girls' bathroom trying not to turn into a bitten? The doorbell rang. Nori jumped. She answered the door. The boy on the step was pale and tall, with nice straight teeth and long legs. He had big hair too. Short, loopy curls sprang over his head, defying gravity. Hi, said the boy. I'm Elliot. Hi. Nori made herself smile. You have got a fake smile, Elliot observed. But that's okay, so do I. What? It's the first day of school, dear Anne. It's the first day of upside down magic class. Everyone going to be staring at us and not in a good way. Nori blinked. We are now officially wonkos, Elliot said. He shook his head. I know some of the upside down kids from before and few of them are scary. Others are just, Nori still couldn't find her words, scary and wonky. Oh, why wouldn't she just be at Sage Academy? Come on, Elliot said, jumping down Margot's front step one at a time. I have lived here all my life and I know the quickest way to get there. Is the quickest way really the best? Nori wanted to ask, but she didn't. So Elliot prepared her with question instead. Elliot peppered her with question instead. He was a talker. What's your favorite kind of ice cream? Chocolate, Nori said. She and Dahlia liked chocolate. Hawthorne liked peach. Father didn't eat sweets. What's your favorite animal? Elliot asked. A dragon, Nori said. She had never seen one, although for a brief time she had always been one. But she was hoping to travel to Australia one day and see them in wild. What's your favorite color? Purple. I heard about your mixed up animal from your aunt. It is scary. Nori snapped to attention. He knew. Of course he knew. Father had told her aunt. Her aunt had told the school. That's how she'd gotten into the upside down magic class. Yeah, it's scary, she told Elliot. Can you do normal ones sometime? Why are you black when your aunt is white? My dad's black. My mom was white. Do you want to tell me about your mom? No thanks. she said to Elliot. What could she tell him? What did she really know? She didn't remember much. But he wouldn't stop. Is she dead? I heard she was dead. Sounds like you already know. Want to tell me about your dad? No. Want to tell me about anything? Sheesh. Nori was at a loss. She wasn't sure. Wasn't sure she wanted to open up yet, or ever. But she didn't want to upset Elliot either. He was the best chance she had of making a friend here. Knock, knock, she said. He smiled. Who's there? Me. Me who? Knock, knock. She repeated. Who is here? Me. Me who? Knock, knock. Who is here? Meow. Meow who? She grinned. Just meow. I got bored waiting for you to answer the door, so I turned into a cat. Elliot paused, thought, and laughed. He had a great laugh, big and snotty. They reached the top of the hill. There was a red brick building with kids smiling around it. Elliot stopped and waved at it dramatically. Here we are, Dunwiddle Magic School, he said. And look, there's Andres. He shall be in our class for sure. Elliot tipped his big hair head to the boy a few yards away, floating in the air. He was brown, probably Latino, Nori thought. He had shaggy hair and wore a strippy shirt. He was a flyer, obviously, but he was much higher up than any beginner flyer Nori had seen. He, every so often his body jerked forward. He failed he failed his arm. Around one ankle was a red rope. An older girl held the other end and chatted with her friend. He's on leash, Nori whispered. That's his sister Carmen, holding the other end, Elliot said. Want to know what happened? Nori nodded. On the day before his 10th birthday, Andres flew up into the air during math. Just flew up, not on purpose or anything. Our classroom had a ceiling fan. Andres went straight into it. His hair got caught. He spun around 3 times and then flew off into one corner. He hasn't been able to come down to the ground since. He has to sleep up on the ceiling, eat up there, everything. If he wasn't on leash, he'd float away like a helium balloon. This sounds awful, poor Andres. Yeah, no one hangs out with him anymore, said Elliot. It's awkward. So what's wrong with you? Nori asked. Elliot barked another laugh. You mean why I'm in upside down magic? My problem is that I'm a flare, only. He broke off in the middle of his sentence and dragged Nori behind a bush. I don't like people to see, he whispered, but you're gonna see it anyway in school. I might as well. Elliot picked up a twig and held it out at an arm length. A zap of light set the twig on fire. Nori jumped back, not wanting to get burned, but there was no need. Uh, a quick flame for only an instant. Then the light went out. The entire piece of wood cracked over with ice. Ice? I flare, but then it freezes. Elliot moaned. Or else it doesn't flare at all. Nori touched the ice twig and looked at Elliot in awe. Um, she had never known anyone who could freeze things before. She had never even heard of people who could freeze things before. Come on, before the first bell rings, said Elliot, changing the subject. He dragged Nori out from behind the bush. I hear the cafeteria food is gross. I hear the principal is invisible. I hear we get recess every day after lunch, and you are not supposed to go into the wooded area. Still, everyone goes in there anyway. The lunch duty ladies don't pay good attention. Oh, and watch out for Pepper. Pepper will definitely be in our class, which is not good news. It's not, Nori said. Why? Pepper's an upside down fuzzy. In other word fierce. They have only been like two fierces in all of the history. I think extremely wonky. I know because I went to ordinary school with Pepper. On the day Pepper powers came in, pow, Nori's heart thumped. What happened? Stampedes, howling, peeing on the carpet. Our neighbor have goat, and Pepper made them stampede through the fence. And I know these other people who used to have a pet dog. Pepper scared it so badly It hid for 2 weeks. Then, when finally it came home, it was always trying to bite people. Pepper terrified that dog into permanent meanness. The people had to give the dog away. Wow, Nori shivered. I heard other stories too, horse crying, cats trying to hide in the mouse hole. What do fierces do? What do fierces do to fluxers? She asked. Like if fluxer um, is in animal form and Pepper comes along. Pepper terrifies them just like any other animal. What if we are in our human form? Don't know. It's probably still bad and human and Pepper scares me, Elliot said. Nori wasn't sure how she'd survive her class. They were almost to the stair leading to the front school's front door when Elliot abruptly peeled off to the left. Just saw my Flair friend from ordinary school, he said, talking over his shoulder. I haven't seen them all summer practically. They must miss me. You'll be okay, right? I'll see you in the class. Nori wasn't sure she'd be okay at all, but before she could even wave, Elliot has been swallowed by the crowd. First day, so many students, just one Nori. Take okay, deep breath. You can do this. Nori told herself. If it won't be that bad, maybe it'll be fun. She would look on the bright side, staring. Today she was going to learn new things and make new friends. I really will. She held her head high and walked inside.